So we are here inside Logic Pro and we are today going to recreate the island synth. By that I mean that I've already made it and I'm going to show you how you can make it. The way I came across this was that on the Pendulum website they released remix stems for the island part 1, which you can get hold of yourself. And basically, they, of course, with remix stems means you can solo out the different parts. And so what I did to learn how to make this synth was solo out their one, which we have here. I'll just play it quickly. And so, I thought I would myself have a go at making the patch because I think it'd be useful in the future. So I decided it'd be a good idea to make the patch in Albino Free by Rob Papin. This is available as an audio unit. If you don't understand what an audio unit is, please feel free to ask me or ask the internet, of course. The internet will tell you. So what is this synth consisting of? Well, we're using two oscillators. This one's using this waveform, and so is this one. There is no cent difference. The symmetry is exactly the same. What Pendulum tend to do is use quite basic synths and then fatten them up using the rest of the track to make sure that the synth is clear in the final mix. So, what do we want to do? We want these oscillators on, obviously, and make sure, if you're not familiar with this, you press the layer button and you can see here that there's many layers. Now they turn on and off, so what you want to do is just have one layer on, that's all. So because this synth is based on the 1970 lead patch if you want to make this a bit easier for yourself. And I've just soloed out layer 1, basically, before starting to work on this synth. So, like I said, 1 and 2 we want on. And then we want oscillator 2, we want the sync button to be glowing red. If it's not, click it. And we want these volumes at these positions, and the 1 and 2 balance is in the middle. We want the envelope, we want the attack to be around 0.003 because that means that it won't make a horrible clicking noise, which I'm sure if you've done synths in the past you know is a major issue. Filter 2 we're not using today. We want filter 1 on low pass. We want the cutoff on full. We want the resonance on 21 and the envelope on full. I'm using a cream filter as it's the one I know how to use best. The modulation matrix, if you've used the preset patch, will already be set up. If not, as you can see, this is set to oscillator 1 amplitude. Actually, that's not set to do anything at the moment. So yeah, make sure that your modulation matrix is looking the same as this because I can't remember if I adjusted it or not. Yeah, I think I turned off a couple of things here. So yeah, to turn something off, you press you just click and hold and then choose this. And same to choose everything else as well, like LFO4 for instance and stuff. So yeah, once you've got this matched, and you make sure that none of these effects are on except for delay, which we want set up like this. In fact, I wasn't even too aware that it was there, but it's clearly doing something to make it sound right. So make sure it's there. So let me just turn off the inserts which I've put on Logic so we can hear what it sounds like without the effects. So as you can hear already, we're pretty damn close. But what we need to do now we have this synth set up is go into our inserts. First thing we want to do is use Space Designer Reverb. Now, you may have a different reverb at home, so but I'll tell you how I've set this up and you should be able to relate with your reverb. Space Designer is one of Logic Pro's reverbs. It's, in my opinion, the best one. So, pre-delay. Right. This is the default patch on Space Designer, but I've adjusted it madly. We want the length to be around 1 second. Then we want to go to the EQ, so the reverb EQ, and cut off around 590 Hz. We don't want to reverb the bassy sounds. We want the pre-delay set to 0. Very important. Don't forget to do that. The volume envelope, we want to set the attack time to around 0.1 seconds so that it sounds smooth rather than aggressive. And we want the actual reverb level to be around there. So that's minus 18.5 decibels. And of course we want the dry on full. So that's the reverb. So let's listen to it now. And as you can see, it's already sounding better. What I'll actually do is at the end of this video is I will put an MP3 behind a picture so you can hear what this actually sounds like and also what the original sounds like too. Anyway, one of the most key things that you can do with any synth is to make it expand its frequency range, and to do this in Cubase you use a tool called Dimension Expander. Here in Logic, however, we want to use stereo spread, so let's just turn this on. Here we are with stereo spread, and as you can see I have a lower frequency of 1300 Hz. As I said, it's important that we don't mess with the lower frequencies because they're muddy and messy. And then what I've done is set the order to 7 and the upper initial to 44% and the lower initial to 52%. I feel that this just makes it that little bit fatter. So yes, that's the stereo spread we're using there. And as you can see, it's sounding that little bit better. Now, let's listen to the original again. And you'll notice there's a delay, and so we'll listen to this delay quickly. It's more effective near the end of this main riff here. So, delay. What I've done with delay is I've used tape delay, my favourite delay system on Logic Pro. If you have a different delay, I suggest you pause the video and take a look at mine. But what I've got it set up on mine as is feedback 20%, no low cut because it doesn't matter so much with delay. I've put the wet way down to 11, we don't want it to be too interfering in the mix. I've put the groove to 75% and the note system into 1 1/8 notes, and yes, that's pretty much all I've done. This LFO isn't actually being used, so that can be set to 0, just ignore all that. But make sure that all your flutter is off. And so if we listen there, I think that's pretty damn good. So we'll stick with that. Feedback we want on 20% by the way there. Now, last bit is to do a tiny bit of EQing. What I've actually done here is I've set a low cut of 255 Hz at a 24 decibel slope, and I've lowered the 270 Hz by 7.5 decibels because it was still sounding a little tad too bassy in the mix. So let's listen to the final thing again. And so there we have it. So let's compare by, let's just put both of them on at the same time. Let's try that. Bear with me a minute whilst I enable the track for MIDI receiving. So there we have it, and if you're even more expert at synth, I'm sure you could refine it even more than I have. I'd like to hear your feedback. You know, we work as a team in this world, don't we? Yeah, it's quite fun doing this project as well, I should probably say, because the remix stems don't actually have drums, so I've had to program them by hand. So I can show you that quickly as well. Bear with me. If you're interested in how these drums are made, which, you know, is pretty simple stuff really, I can put a tutorial up for that if anyone leaves a comment for that. And so yeah, I love this. So there we have it. If you want a reminder, make sure that everything is set up as you can see here. And don't forget about the layer button, please. You'll regret it if you do. Make sure everything is exactly the same, and then you too will have this synth. And don't forget, small amount of reverb. Make sure that the pre-delay is set to nothing, and that the length isn't too long, and that the attack is just right. And we also make sure that it's not reverbing the lower frequencies. Don't forget, those lower frequencies are an arse. To really get a full sound, don't forget to use the stereo spread or the dimension expander or whatever you have in your program. Delay, what a difference it makes, honestly. You should make sure you do that. And of course, low cutting, which I'm going to just pull down a bit actually on mine because it's sounding a bit unbassy. Yeah. So like I said though, if you find an even better refinement, please let me know. And if you're wondering, I have no idea why bus 2 is on here. It's not actually doing anything, so don't worry about that. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.